People in Winnipeg lost their shit. I mean, a lot of people did, but in Winnipeg in particular.
Welcome to the Sons of Vancouver Whiskey channel. My name's James.
I'm Max.
And I'm Jenna. Today we're going to be tasting a bevy of Crown Royal products, with the feature here being a Crown Royal from 1967.
It still has the tax seal on it.
Yeah, so you know it's official. The seal is intact. Adam's gonna get up close here and prove that this is the government seal. So basically what we're gonna do is we're going to taste Crown Royal Classic. This is the original. We bought it today.
We're gonna compare it against the 1967 Crown. Then we're gonna move on to the Crown Royal Rye. This is one of the ones that we tasted last month.
And our last one that we're going to taste comes in a box, so you know it's really fancy. This is Crown Royal Reserve. I'm going to point out that while this is the most expensive of the lot that we're aware of, we don't know how much this retailed for when it was first put out. This one is the only one with an age statement. It claims to be a 10-year whiskey, with the oldest whiskey being 30 years, which is quite rare in today's market.
Shall we try a little bit of the original Crown?
Let's pour ourselves a dram.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. I can't say that I'm picking up like a whole lot of anything on the nose. It's very like,
It's pretty clean.
yeah, clean, very neutral,
It's a little
spicy,
a little spicy, a little nutty.
little mapley.
Yeah, it's pretty pleasant. There's nothing really off-putting about this in any way.
It's pretty neutral. Like it reads like a neutral whiskey that's been put in a used barrel for 3 years, and that's about it. I would liken it to the like not so different from the Potters that we had
Whoa. What?
in the last video.
It's a little better than the Potters. It definitely has some character
definitely.
to it.
But I'd
no.
I'd put it in that category of like,
Yeah.
it's very neutral. It's clearly come off the still very neutral, and there's really not much to it.
It's a fair point.
Today, we're lucky enough to try a 1967 bottle of Crown Royal. Gonna open it here, no going back.
Well, now to find out if it's apple juice or not.
Yeah, find out if we've been had. It's whiskey. Cheers.
Cheers. Much more on the nose.
Ooh. It's nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here. Some like tobacco,
Yeah.
some
Oh, boot leather,
yeah,
wet leather.
very leathery,
Yeah. Leathery.
leather and
A little
cigars or something.
a little raisiny. Yeah, cigars is a good one.
What I really love about finding older bottles like this was presumably in 1967, the whiskey market wasn't booming as much as it was now, and distillers had to really lean on blending skills and exceptional malts to bring people into the category, whereas right now, the whiskey market's at a bit of a peak. All whiskey is expensive on the bulk market. And blenders have to try to keep the typical price point while still producing a great product. And over a long period of time, you might actually get away from where the original blend started. So we have the two here to compare.
I can't say like by any means that it's the most complex whiskey that I've had. I can't say that it drinks like a 30-year whiskey. It does drink like a 7 to 10-year-old whiskey for sure. Like but I would say still on the neutral side. Like I would expect a 7 to 10-year whiskey, and especially a whiskey that has 30-year whiskey blended into it, to be way more flavorful and way more robust because it went into the barrel expecting it to be there a long time.
My first instinct is that there's a tremendous amount of caramel in this that wasn't in the the more recent Crown Royal, as well as it's an example of a Canadian whiskey that's aged in used barrels, very used barrels.
Definitely better than the first one.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's so much graham cracker
Yeah.
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah. Right. So let's move on to our third contestant.
I'm sure we all remember Northern Harvest winning Best Whiskey in the World in Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible.
People in Winnipeg lost their shit. I mean, a lot of people did, but in Winnipeg in particular, this was very sought after.
Cheers. It's a
Oh,
nice
God.
oily nose. Apples.
It's a completely different,
It is very different.
like,
I always say that Canadian rye is indicative of tails in the distillation process. There's always a little bit of like burnt bicycle tire or like anise.
yeah.
yeah. There's
Right.
lots of tailsy notes
Yeah.
here.
Tailsy, end of the run, grassy, spicy, appley, burnt tire kind of
Oily.
flavor.
This is a great whiskey. I didn't expect to like this whiskey as much as I did when we blind tasted it. It really holds up to a lot of the higher priced American whiskeys that we're quite fond of. And last but certainly not least, we have the reserve bottle. So this guy sells for around $80, and it's supposed to be a higher quality Crown Royal than the first Crown Royal that we had. So interested to see if it drinks like the 67 Crown Royal. So the write-up on the back of this one is, "This fine whiskey is our gift of appreciation to all Crown Royal enthusiasts." And it's in quotation marks, though it doesn't attribute the, I assume it's the distiller. "Only whiskeys of exceptional character are worthy of Crown Royal Reserve." So the idea is that they're going through their barrels and picking out the real fancy ones, or the best tasting ones.
Wow, look at that lid.
Yeah, the lid's much bigger, so we know it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
Clink.
Pretty light on the nose, like your contemporary Crown.
Reminiscent of the first one for sure. Not a tremendous nose.
A little bit more, but
It's,
not a lot.
I would say it's in between the two.
Yeah.
Not as much nose as the 67, but more nose than the regular Crown. Definitely not like a rye nose, although I kind of feel like maybe there's a little bit of rye in here. There's a little bit of spice that's sticking out to me.
It's very
little bit.
hot.
Yeah.
Again, though, it's getting a little bit more caramel, raisins sort of flavor than that is reminiscent of that older bottle.
The flavor is very dark fruit. Very similar to the 67, actually.
Yeah.
No, none of the leather, though. None of the tobacco.
It's hot. It's hotter than both of those, I feel like.
I feel, yeah.
I would encourage you to grab your glass of the 67 and try it side by side. You will see significant similarities and a couple absences.
The first thing that strikes me comparing these is that the 67 has way more like maple syrup on the nose. It's like
It has that
so
Rogers
much sweeter.
golden syrup.
Yeah. So much sweeter.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the maple, but it has like syrup that comes in a bottle that looks like that one.
The like corn syrup.
Corn syrup.
The
that's
one
what
that
I'm
looks like
looking
a
for.
beehive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say that if you put the regular Crown and the Reserve Crown beside each other that I would be able to tell you the difference.
Yeah.
But I would get the rye Crown Royal, the Northern Harvest, over any of these any day.
And I would definitely be going through your grandparents' and great-grandparents' liquor cabinets looking for some of these.
Yeah, if
And
you have the
if you find
choice,
them,
You sell them.
bring them to us.
if you have the choice, definitely go back in time and get 1967 over the regular.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
All right, final thoughts, guys.
Crown Royal Northern Harvest is definitely something that I'm going to go back to. But the Special Reserve, the 1967, and the original Crown, not a huge difference between all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by the 1967, but you know, worth noting that things that are old aren't always better, and that you know, the turn of the century, there was a lot of snake oil type stuff going on. So, you know, this was made in a time before there were lots of regulations that told us what you couldn't do. So,
Yeah.
worth noting.
Wow. It's fascinating to try something that is so old and prior to contemporary thoughts about whiskey. So very enjoyable. That's a fantastic whiskey. These things stand up really well and they are notably pleasant.
So in summation, buy Northern Harvest.
Keep your eyes out for those.
Don't waste your money.
Crown Royal.
Crown Royal. You want a Brian Coke?
You know what you're getting into.
You know what you're getting into. So get the cheapo.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
And have a good night.